All right, thank you everybody. We're gonna be introducing some badass people doing badass shit. So this is a Remarkable Women NFTs, forging innovative avenues of impact. Give it a hand for our speakers, thank you.
Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for being here today. Really excited to be part of this panel around Remarkable Women NFTs and how each of us are creating impact through NFTs. So I guess we can kind of just introduce quickly our name and what project, and then I would love to then each of us to describe what we're doing. So my name is Lily. I'm the co-founder of Wild Pixies DAO. We are the first social DAO to invest specifically into the women-led ecosystem.
Hello, my name is Karisa. I work for NFT Genius. I'm the VP of Operations, and we have our marketplace, Gaia Marketplace, which is one of the largest marketplaces on the Flow blockchain.
Hi everybody, my name is Kitty Like a Cat. I am founder of NFT Girl Gang, and now I'm a head of design at Avalanche.
My name is Nick Fontova. Online, I am Mr. Pink NFT. I am the Chief Marketing Officer of Landmark Ventures in New York, our metaverse team. And we have the Royal Society of Players NFT, the House of First, Remarkable Women NFT, and our new Black is Beautiful NFT coming up next week.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. My name is Kristin Doerrer. I am the VP of Marketing for the Legend Group. And we have a couple music and art NFT platforms, legendmusic.com, which is our biggest platform that's going to be launching this coming summer. We also have yoshidrops.com and legendart.com.
Awesome. So I guess next we'll talk a little bit about how we are innovating with our respective NFT projects or with our respective companies, and also a little bit about why we decided to join this space. So a little background about myself. I have always been in startups. I previously started 2 7-figure businesses, exited, and also currently work at Stripe as a startup partner lead, building out the startup ecosystem in Southeast Asia. And being a previous founder that has bootstrapped $2 million businesses, I always had issues fundraising. And so last year when I discovered NFTs, I really found it as a really great way actually for women in particular to fundraise. And the reason is because I have seen firsthand through experience and currently even at my job working with VCs and accelerators directly, that actually only 2% of women get funding. And in 2021, it was at an all-time low. So that means 98% of all VC funding go to men. And so it's really tough out there for a lot of women who have to create more sustainable businesses to keep going. And so with NFTs, what I found was that you can get a group of people who can crowdfund money to keep and sustain their businesses going. And so for Wild Pixies DAO, what we're really doing is supporting these women entrepreneurs in the space. So we were #1 trending on OpenSea when we minted, and with the $2 million that we fundraised over 4 days, we were able to create the DAO so that 80% of all of this funding goes into different projects. And in this case, we onboarded a lot of women into NFTs where we would actually take the projects that we invested into and give away community perks of all of these communities to all of our holders so that they have a safe space to learn and to onboard into this space without having to buy all of these NFTs themselves. And so that's kind of why I started. I'll pass it on.
Hi, you guys. So I started from the bottom, and now I'm here. So essentially, I started with startups in the beginning, and I moved into big business. I worked with HBO, CBS, Paramount Plus and things of that nature. I fell in love with crypto during the pandemic, and I was very lucky that I had an open-minded boss that wanted to hire me and bring me on and let me learn on the job. I've been there for about 1.5 years now, and we're very focused on, right now our Gaia Marketplace is focused on athletics, and we are very inclusive in terms of wanting to promote women on our platform. We have, our Ballers, which was a viral IP success, and we have a lot of female actual IP ballers. But in general, as a company, once I was brought on, a lot of our initiatives became, how do we bring more women into the space? How do we bring more diversity in the space? Unfortunately, we can't just bring them in. We have to seek them out, we have to find them, we have to train them, and we have to walk them through the door. It's no longer enough to just say, hey, we want diversity. We have to do more, and a lot of our initiatives that we're taking as we're growing is finding what the common factors are in jobs that aren't Web3 and filling those gaps within Web3 by training, teaching, and nurturing. There's a lot that women don't realize they can do, and Web3 has very few women in it right now. So my job as the VP of Operations isn't just to seek out and hire women, but it's to reach out to all women who want to be in this space and help them achieve any goal they want, whether it's an artist, whether it's to be an engineer, whether it's to be a VP like me, whatever your goal is. And I'm very lucky that the people that I work with have not only given me the latitude to do this, but are supportive in this and bringing everyone into the space with open arms and getting them to where they need to be.
Hey everybody, I sat next to you at the last, hey, what's up?
What's up?
How I got started, Clubhouse, bored in COVID, wanting to make friends on the internet and figuring out crypto together. And it's grown into going to these conferences and meeting people in real life and getting to sit next to amazing women speaking about diversity. And this panel is about impact. One question, how many people here have a full-time job in Web3? Hell yeah. So that is one thing that I've been working on. I created NFT Girl Gang 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. It's been a lifetime in crypto. And what I just wanted to do is create spaces where people can have those conversations and ask those questions that might feel dumb. Ask what a wallet is and how do I get a wallet. And so that's how I've created impact, is creating these spaces where we can discuss. And the next step is figuring out, okay, now that we know what's up, now that we understand crypto, how do we move into being able to raise your hand at a conference and saying you work full-time in Web3? How do we make those connections and find that right person? For example, I got my job with Avalanche because I was building a booth, busting my ass to get this done, and someone from Avalanche said, I don't know who you are, but you're a hard worker and I want you to work here. And I kept the conversations going and kept meeting more and more people that worked at Avalanche and was able to have more and more conversations. But that came with going to all these conferences and putting myself out there and speaking to a lot of people and building this network. How can I bring this network of people to those who can't, pay $5,000 to come to NFT.NYC or the $1,000 ticket? How can I build small communities where they're at? How can I sponsor an event in LA and bring people together there? And so that's ways that I'm creating impact, is sharing this information and building communities both online and in real life. I'm curious, how do you guys think we should continue to make impacts?
Intent. I think you have to work with intent. I'm so fortunate at House of First and at Landmark to work on a team of diverse men, women, and non-binary individuals, which is something we talk about a lot too. There's been some disconcerting rhetoric recently about our friends in the non-binary space, and I think the women in the space are so powerful that we have mobilized with our team together. We can solve problems for other underrepresented people, which is just, I think putting the powerful women that we work with at Remarkable Women in places of foundational, in Web3, we can restructure the way we want the foundational wealth to look. The barriers to entry, whether your parents went to Harvard and that's how you got in, people just didn't have an even playing field. And the fact that someone can set up a wallet today in any part of the world and have same access to generational wealth or the opportunity to participate and to sit at the table is the #1 most important thing. There's just, you don't need a ticket to sit at the table at these high stakes foundational level. And at House of First, we had a lot of intent last year. We saw that women in October just didn't thank God now we have so many great female-led projects, but in October of last year, we just had a lot of intent to do a project with remarkable women to uplift women. And we found an artist, Rachel Winner, and we spoke to her the first time, and she was working on a project for a company I won't name. And she did some sketches for them, and they just said, let's see what you got. And the feedback was, too Asian. Too Asian. We didn't tell you we wanted Asian people. We told you we wanted people. And to hear her tell that story, and now to be able to do a collection like Remarkable Women, which has representation of people from all over the globe. Stacy Hugh is a team member of ours that grew up and lives in Hong Kong. So I know people talk about global communities, but you got to take the next step and build those global communities. But with our collection, it's called Remarkable Women, but it's got 69 different remarks for remarkable women, and they're all terms of empowerment. And it's in 16 different languages: American Sign Language, Hindi, Spanish, everything, because we really wanted to represent women globally that really just didn't find it. And we get a lot of messages, and sometimes you do this for all these different reasons, and you get one message from somebody that goes, I can't believe I have a PFP that looks like me. I can't believe I got a PFP for my daughter that looks like my daughter. We work with some professional athletes, and sometimes I show them Rachel's collection, and they have overwhelming responses that our family members, they've never seen it like that. So I think just working with intent to make sure that we have this amazing once-in-a-lifetime opportunity in Web3 for this new generational wealth to create that foundation with people that are non-binary, of color, of women that have never been able to be on foundational level wealth. And I just think that's important, and I think we're doing it.
Yeah, I'd love to add to that, but before I do that, I just have to say that I'm super honored to be sharing the stage with all of you guys who are forging such incredible paths forward for women and for people of all different kinds of color and from all different corners of the world. This industry that we're all in is so new and fresh, and we have such a massive opportunity in front of us to be able to do things differently than they've been done in the past. And speaking from experience, so I haven't been in blockchain for many years, or a crypto lifetime, as Kitty said. I actually come from apparel and footwear. I have over 22 years of experience now in apparel and footwear. I spent the last 8 years of my career at Nike by way of Converse out of Boston. And that's a really matrixed organization that sometimes cannot feel super inclusive. And I came into blockchain and into cryptocurrency because I saw the opportunity for innovation and progression, and what we're doing at the Legend Group with music and art NFTs is like nothing I'd ever experienced before. And as soon as I came into this world and into this industry, I saw that innovation and I saw that progression, but I also saw an incredible need for education. And I think that's a really good opportunity for women in this space, especially women who truly understand it and who can speak about it from that elevated level to educate other women and other non-binary people and people from all over the world who are really curious about blockchain in general, but they don't know how to get into it. Or let's face it, it can be very intimidating for someone who doesn't understand it. I mean, how many times have you been talking to a family member or a friend and trying to explain it to them, and they're like, I'm not really that interested in it. It's because they don't understand it. And to me, building that sense of community comes from a place of education. And as one of the only female leaders at my company, that's one of the things that I'm constantly trying to do, is to come from a place of education and getting people to really understand the space and the opportunity that exists now and into the future.
Kristin, we need to talk after this. But no, I completely agree in regards to the education piece, because I think part of putting more power, putting more money and power into women's hands is through educating and allowing people to make decisions in this new world that we're building. And so, right now, this space has been very kind of engineering focused, very technical focused, but that isn't the whole world, and we need people from different skills with different mindsets to come and build this new world that we want to see. And so part of what we're doing with Wow Pixies and our next collection, Pixies World, is around bridging that Web 2 skill set into Web 3, because we need more women who are decision makers in Web 3, and to actually utilize their Web 2 skills and their extensive experiences to make differences in this new world. And so part of what we're doing is kind of like a build to earn function, where we're working with partners like Decentraland, we're working with massive FMCG companies, where they will give us, kind of things that they want to see. So if you want to build on Decentraland, why don't you start off with doing this particular mission or this particular task? You get airdrop mana, then at the end, you do a project, and it's especially for non-technical people, and you get verified on-chain these experiences with Decentraland or with this massive company who wants us to build out their DAO, et cetera. And so this is a kind of easy transition and way for people to actually share their experiences, build, gain experience, whether it's the metaverse, whether it's DAOs, whether it's NFTs, and then have that verified by those specific companies so that they can then transition into Web3 jobs. Decentraland would, for example, would hire these people who come through these programs. And that's a way where we're trying to empower a lot of our existing Pixie holders, 75% which are women, who majority have 10, 15 years experience in marketing, in tech, and it's just about bridging those thought leadership and those experiences into Web3 so we can build a more equitable future. So really resonate with what you said.
I agree. I think there's been a lot of negative connotations with blockchain and cryptocurrency, dark web and things of that nature. So I think number one is education. Number two is making it as easy and accessible to the masses. If we make it complicated where you have to have your MetaMask and then you have to have your crypto, and you have to buy your crypto and trade it to your MetaMask, and you have to connect it to your marketplace, you're creating too many barriers to entry. What ends up happening is you can't get that mass user adoption, which is why on our marketplace, you don't need to buy crypto, you just need your credit card. And because we're making it easier for people to use our marketplace on Gaia, we've paired with the Dapper wallet on Flow, we're allowing more diverse people to be able to do sets with us and give them the ability to access it more easily and simplistically. I think if we can teach people and we can educate them in a way that they intake information, music and art is a huge way of doing that. They're languages. Music's a language, art's a language, math's a language. Because NFTs, because all these things are different languages, they're allowing people to go beyond what their norm is and reach out further. Having accessibility in terms of knowledge will knock down barriers. It will knock down language barriers. We all know that English is not the main language of the of the world. And we as Americans think that the world should speak English. But when you talk about art, when you talk about math, when you talk about music, when you talk about sports, you're reaching people in a different way. And I think Web3 is the way to bring us together in a very unique way. It's also a way to educate us in a way that we've never been able to educate people before.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, speaking about education, and we had spoken in the last panel about meeting people where they're at. And it's not our jobs to convince somebody and to fully explain to what crypto is, but just try to talk about it in a way that they understand. I love asking the crowd questions. How many of you still have your birth certificate at your parents' house in a safe? Yeah. How many of you would feel so much more comfortable if it was just attached to your wallet and it's not going to get lost? Great. Very, very simple way to explain blockchain. We can use tech to have now on-chain documentation. We can do very fast cryptocurrencies. We can pay somebody and buy the Lambo in a second versus having to wait for that to go through in days. I want Lambo now. Finding ways to speak about this and explain it in a simple way, meeting people where they're at, and being able to, again, create spaces with impact where we can continue to chat and, figure this out together and work together, especially at times like this where, people are scared, they're nervous, market's down. I think it's a great time to build, focusing on, what can we do to keep this going and to be able to get to mass adoption versus being afraid and, money down. Oh my gosh, let's focus on the technology and where we can go with this and how we can build cool shit together.
Yeah, and I think one of the things for me, I was very fortunate last week, Landmark Ventures, again, I'm the most grateful and luckiest person here. The company I work for really is a wonderful company with great intent that jumped into Web3, but really was a world leader in bringing people together to solve problems of the world. So we just had our yearly event in Washington, D.C. with Al Roker and Aisha Curry talking at the Social Innovation Summit. And we spoke specifically about impact. So just to bring it back to impact, and then I'm going to give you some, I see the clock. So, but impact in particular, the number one tool for Web3, I think we're going to look back on and realize how did we live without it, is donations and generating money. I talked to some Web2 companies and some people in the Obama administration that are in nonprofits, and I kind of gave them a scary view of their necessity. You know, with decentralized generosity, I'm not sure they're going to be relevant unless they want to help us facilitate these transactions. People want to give. It feels really good to give money, and a lot of times it's just people need opportunities to give. For my grandmother, it was church. They bring around the basket, and you threw money in there, and it made you feel great. And like that was your opportunity to give. For a lot of years for me in college, giving was infomercials at 2 a.m. For companies I don't trust that wanted my credit card. I wasn't into that. The greatest thing about this year is I've donated so much money, and in return I've received NFTs that are now possible assets that are going to be worth more than the donation I gave at the beginning. So what I'm trying to tell these Web2 companies is, again, you were started to help us build a well in El Salvador, and we needed you to facilitate our money to get to the people to build the well. Don't need you anymore. You're slower than I can do it myself. We wanted to help a village in El Salvador that needed some clean water. And we just met some community members down there that had been asking the government to do it. So we got my Cool Cat friends together. We found a wall. We paid the building owner to let us put a mural on there. We gave him the money. We sold the NFT, and they fixed their water problem in like 4 weeks. Now people take pictures, and the community hangs out at this shop where these beautiful NFTs are. And it was just a lot easier. And again, I think I really want these Web2 companies and nonprofits to jump into Web3. Some of them aren't even taking cryptocurrency. I mean, they were coming up to me after they're going, we don't know how to manage a crypto portfolio. Let me give it to you, turn it into fiat, and put it in your bank account. And they don't even know how to do that yet. But once the nonprofits, the ones that learn how to use Web3, are going to run past the old ones. And again, don't ask me for my money to fix a problem. Offer me an NFT from an artist that is a representation of my donation, is much more deep meaning to me. Once I've got that representation in my wallet of something I donated to, that's different than a card that you're going to send me that said thanks for being a contributor. And again, that's, you talk about impact in Web3s. Again, we got little time, but Drift Shoots is a very inspiring photographer in the space, and he wanted to raise some money for the Bail Project because he felt that he was incarcerated and couldn't get bail money, and he knew a lot of people in there. He dropped an NFT and got 1.8 million directly to the Bail Project. Like, we don't need any people to do that for us. As a community, we were like, tweet it, we're here for it, let's do it. And I think the women in the space are doing that, and I really do think impact is going to be, nonprofits are going to change forever.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think along with like the educational component that we've been talking about today, the other thing that's really important as the space moves forward is recruitment. I think it was Karisa, you were talking about like bringing women and all different types of people from different backgrounds, and being able to have like somebody who maybe has been marketing in, the personal goods space, or somebody who's great at producing product in a different space. Like bringing those types of people, especially women, into blockchain, I think is really gonna move us forward, and all that experience and that level of professionalism that this industry is really starved for, that expertise, I think would be another really great way for us to push this innovative path forward. The last thing too, because I know we're almost at time, is coming from the space of a creator. So at Legend Music, we focus on working with creators and working with artists. And our mission is to bring female creators onto the platform. Yes, there we go. But right alongside those established male musicians and those emerging male musicians, we want to make sure that we're also forging, an innovative path forward for female creators in the music and in the art space as well. So we're almost out of time. We have 1 minute and 21 seconds. Any closing words from anyone? You guys are all badass, that's what I'm gonna say.
I'd say just how to find you, how to find everybody.
Yeah, so how you can find Wow Pixies is Wow Pixies NFT on Twitter. We do have white paper, we have our roadmap out, so would love to keep in touch. Please feel free to reach out to me, also at NFT Lily on Twitter.
Hey guys, if you want to get in touch with us, I suggest you go to www.ongaia.com, ongaia.com. And if you want to reach out to me directly, it's MMAGirl22.
Hey everybody, I'm Kitty Like a Cat. You can find me on NFT Girl Gang everywhere, NFTGirlGang.com. And I want to do a shout out to Nick for being the male on the women's panel. Allyship is really important. It's not a girls' club. Thanks for everybody for coming out.
Very kind words, thank you. It's a very welcoming space to be around lovely women, and I grew up with a mother that I loved, and she was underrepresented in a lot of her life, and it had a lot of impact on me. So thank you guys for what you do. Thank you for being so inviting. Thank you everyone for coming. Mr. Pink NFT and House of First, and I've got some wonderful women that follow me and associate, so I love when people ask for women to follow in the space because I love starting those trends and those trains. So follow me, but again, a lot of the women that follow me and support me, I'd love for you to follow too, and just ask me who they are on my space or on my Twitter, and I'd love to share them with you.
Legendmusic.com, LGNDmusic.com.
Oh, no, you're not. Keep going.
Yoshidrops.com and
going.
legend.art, LGND.art. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you. Don't go anywhere. We actually have some time to kill, so if you want, we can take some questions from the audience, or if there was a topic that you may have slipped on that you just want to cover real quick while you have some extra time, we can talk about it.
Questions are great.
All right. M Blue, how goes it, bro?
Well, it's more of a statement, but it probably arise in like an interesting. I'd love to hear your take on it. I've spoke to many women that have gotten into crypto late because their husbands kind of poo-pooed it from the get-go. So I find women to have a very deep intuitive spark about them, but I've noticed with
Yes.
women in particular, they've kind of pushed that down because of the company they keep, and then it took them years to get in as opposed to getting into the early instinct of it. So I was just curious if you guys had any thoughts on that, and how to allow women to follow their instincts.
I have a thought on that. So I actually have heard stories, I've heard people say women aren't allowed in the blockchain center because it'll make the men uncomfortable. Or guys saying, I don't really know, babe, if I should allow you into my crypto trading WhatsApp because they might think it's weird. So it's about, knowing that women should know this. You should be able to educate and feel comfortable, create those spaces to be comfortable. And women also usually join something when they have a friend to bring them up, versus men are very gregarious and they'll just go for it and they'll learn. So being able to, for us to go out and find a friend and be that nice, safe space for them to chat about crypto is really great, along with just having conversations and making sure people are included and being respectful. There's a lot of just strange things that happen.
All right, bros, that's going to wrap up our time. Give a round of applause for a very uplifting panel. Thank you, everybody.